Hello, mates and matesses. I'm not quite certain what the word is for female mates. Misses? Ladies? Ma'ams? I don't know. Anyhow, so I searched in my phone to find something to talk to you about. And it was interestingly enough a thing that I brought up to my missus not too long ago, which was this quandary of a question of if you had a genie. You had a genie and you're like, cool, I have 3 wishes. Uno, dos, tres. What would I wish for? Okay? And that's kind of the question I have for you. That's it. That's kind of the nuts and the bolts of it is what would you wish for? Now, I feel as if a go-to wish would be like, oh, I want money and I want world peace and I want happiness. Okay. And the problem with this is just like, okay. So let's just start with the go-to thing. Everyone wants money, right? And they're like, cool, I want money. I want bajillions of dollars, right? Yay, this is great. Okay, so fine. Let's say you have, let's be ridiculous, and let's say you get $1 billion, right? Well, if you're like me and you're making like 40K a year or something like that, maybe more, suddenly you have $1 billion in a bank account somewhere with like, I don't know, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, something like that. And you're like, cool, I have $1 billion in my bank account all of a sudden. Woohoo! Naturally, what you're going to do is you're going to buy a car, you're going to buy a house, you're going to do all these things. And naturally, what's going to happen, as with every person ever who wins the lottery, is everyone who is remotely related to you is going to come out of the woodwork like, hey, yo, can you lend me some money? Or can you give me some money or whatever? And most people are not going to be able to deal with that. So they'll just give money and da-da-da and just kind of shoo away, get away out of my space. I get that. I respect that. However, it's kind of problematic because that doesn't really solve the problem. Eventually, even with $1 billion, you're going to run out of money. The average person is going to run out of money because the average person doesn't know anything about investing or thinking beyond the now, because your whole job up until this point before you got $1 billion has been, okay, cool, I make this money, I have to pay my bills, I have to do this, and I survive. And I survive because I work the next day, and yeah. So I guess the very first thing when someone wins $1 billion in this magical scenario is they quit their job, which I understand. It's like, most of us are like, myself included, are like, oh, I hate my job. And there is not a day, maybe it's every other day, where I talk to my lady and I'm like, babe, I need to find a different job because this is ridiculous. So I get it. I do sympathize. However, I will say that's not the solution. That's not a good wish. Okay? So there's that. All right. And then let's say, what was the other one? World happiness. No, world peace, right? This concept that all of a sudden, all the countries of the world just stop fighting each other. Well, okay. What does world peace even mean? I feel like it's such a cliche thing that we've like eaten and then we're like, yeah, world peace. Every day, world peace, world peace, world peace. The sad thing is that America's involved in like, I don't know, 10 wars right now. And most American citizens have no idea as to what they are. Myself included. I have no idea. So it's like, all right, what does world peace mean? And what does it even mean to you? Right? Like, what does it mean to you as a person? Whether you're from Uzbekistan or France or Czechoslovakia or Kandahar or Taiwan, like, or United States of America. What does world peace mean to you? What do you think is going to happen when world peace happens. Okay? You don't know. You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. It's not really a thing, and it's not really realistic. So, okay, today there's world peace. And then the cheeky genie's like, cool, I stop no fighting today. Tomorrow they do whatever they want. Your wish was world peace. So right now, world peace period is over. So, stupid wish. If that was what your wish was, stupid wish. Now, I'm thinking right now that some person's like, oh, you know what? I would want like a superpower. And I'm thinking I'm going to talk about superpowers on another video because I think that is a good subject. And right now, I'm not talking about it. So let's just exclude superpowers from the conversation. Okay? No superpowers whatsoever. Okay? So it's just like non-superpower-y things. So what are other things that people would ask for? Like if they had all of the things, all right? You got boatloads of money. You got $1 billion. You got world peace. What else would you ask for? What else could one possibly ask for? And frankly, this was something I ran into. I was just like, I got two. And then the third one, I'm like, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Now, let me get into what my wishes were. Okay. I apologize. I did not think this out beforehand. But simply put, one of my first wish was basically to have all of the money that was illegally obtained. So all of the money that was illegally obtained in my possession. Now, it's like, well, how's that different than asking for $1 billion? For starters, all the money that was illegally obtained, that's a lot more than $1 billion. Just saying. Basically, that includes everyone from your average prostitute to your top tier drug lord. All of their money. Like, not just what they have in their stash house, but also what they have in their Cayman Islands account or their Swedish account and everything in between. And in all fairness, that also would include, like, if you're like me and you do some work on the weekends and the money they give you, like, in theory, would include that. So maybe I should, like, be a little bit more specific. But the idea behind the wish is I want all, like, illicitly obtained, like, drug lord money. I want it all. Now, this is a twofer. So I'm basically getting one wish, but I'm getting two goals. Okay? Not only do I have billions and billions or trillions and trillions of dollars all of a sudden like that. Yay, I'm rich. Woohoo. Okay. But secondarily, what do I do with that money? And I know this wasn't really the question, but what do I do with that money? Well, you burn it. You pull a Joker in the Dark Knight scenario. And the reason why is because inflation 101. The reason why inflation is what it is because there's more money than people. And so because, and not just like one person, $1, but I mean like if you take one person $1, right? So if you had 10 people and $10, then what will happen is, okay, then products are worth that much, and that's the value of things, right? But if you produce more money, products and services are worth less. Because you still have 10 people. If you produce more money, if now you have $100 and 10 people, now suddenly things are worth less. So that's kind of what's happening in today's day and age is they keep producing more money and there's still the same amount of people. So ultimately what happens is like, okay, it doesn't really, it basically just makes the money worth less. Which unfortunately affects us. It affects us plebs. So there's that. But so here's the deal. If I suddenly get all of like drug dealer money, right? And like, ta-da, I have a bunch of drug dealer money. Good for me. Well, if I burn 90% of it, I'm not only doing a favor to myself because suddenly my money I do have is worth more. Not like instantly, but in the short term and in the long term, it will be. But also, I'm helping my fellow man twofold because I'm taking all of this capital out of these drug dealers' hands, and in burning all the money, I'm increasing their money. So suddenly, the legal person's money, the people who follow the law, their money's worth more. You're welcome. All right. The second wish that I had was to know all of the things. And that's kind of a mind F because, again, we're going to have to pause on this. But we're going to have a question later, which is basically, would you like to know? Like, if I told you, hey, you could know all of the things, would you want to know? And I asked a very intelligent lady friend of mine this question, and she was like, well, would everybody know? And I was like, no, just you. And she's like, no, I don't want to know. And I was like, why? And she's basically said, because if I know, then great, but the likelihood of being able to convince people is very, very minimum. But if everybody knows the truth of a thing, then that has merit, that has value, that has, something could be said about that. But that's something else. We'll talk about that later. But I personally would want to know. I want to know all the things. Because I feel like if you know all of the things, then suddenly curing cancer, space travel, things like that, you can just kind of do. And it would end up generating its own wealth. I mean, unless you were like totally incompetent and incapable and unwilling to like inform other people of how amazing and knowledgeable you suddenly were, you'd just on that alone, you'd become a rock star, right? You become the next Einstein or Michelangelo or what have you. You would be known throughout time. Okay, so those are those two things. And the problem is I don't know what the third thing is. I don't know. How do you go from I've now removed all illegally obtained through nefarious ways money. I've removed all the money. I burned about 90% of it. And now I also know everything. I'm aware of all the things. What should my third wish be? Like invincible? Live forever? I don't know. It's a very fascinating question. And honestly, I don't really have the answer. So I want you to ask yourself, what would your 3 wishes be? And bonus question, what should my third wish be? Considering I gave you 2, what would my third be? All right, guys and gal, I love you very much. And I understand that I'm not wearing plaid. I like to say that my hoo-ha is plaid, but that's just not the case. So, like, subscribe, share, and tell me what you'd like me to talk about next. I already gave you a couple things that I'm going to talk about in the future, but we're kind of going to do this weird stuff right now, and we're working it out. We're trying to figure out what we're doing, how we're doing it, what's happening, all the things. Oh, my goodness. And believe it or not, I was just looking at online, how can I get a plaid sweatshirt so I can stop wearing this and wear like a plaid sweatshirt so you people that are commenting can be like, holy cannoli, David Plaidman is like wearing plaid. That's part of his thing. Like you should always wear plaid and always wear a hat and always have a beard and, all these things. Things change, peeps. I'm sorry. Just change. Anyhow, and as you know, I'm still trying to work this out. I'm sorry, Perrin didn't want to say hello. He's just chilling on the bed right now. Sleeping in my spot on the bed, of course. Anyways, love you all. Deuces. Bye.